Alright, let's go over some arranging tools. Here I am just picking a file. It finally loaded. So I'm going through my folders. I'm going to pick a notes file, and this is what I would use in class. So I'll put my file in here, and then I'll just write on it and airplay it onto the screen through the projector. It's loading. And when I make videos for students, I don't go all out or put a ton of things into it. I really just put the file on there, do my verbal explanation while I'm writing. I don't go in and edit or like add music or anything. I try to just keep them short, like 10 minutes or so. Okay, so if you can see, I'll click a pointer right here. There is a little stop or play sign, and when it's checked, then I click import. And then you have some options. You can, if it has multiple pages, you can insert them all on the same page, or I do separate pages. And then it bumps it to a new page, so it doesn't cover up what you're working on, which is nice. Okay, but the most important thing, I'm gonna copy it and take it to the page with my explanations. Okay, so I pasted it, and then I'm just pinching it together to make it smaller. Moving it to the side, and what's on that page isn't as important. Okay, and so what is important is I click this little information button, go to lock, I click the page, and then I click lock. And that makes it stay there. It won't let you erase it. So if I write on top of it and I want to erase the writing, I can erase the writing without erasing the document, which is really nice because I have forgotten to lock it, and I either move it on accident and then it moves the document away from the writing, and so see how those are locked? It let me erase what was in blue instead of what was in black. Okay, so how I use it, again, I'm at home using an Apple Pencil right now, but normally at school on the school iPad, I just use my finger, and of course it's bigger when I write on it. So I would just fill in the blanks for the students and they would follow along, and we have set that expectation at the beginning of the year. I felt like I needed to write a lot of examples. Okay, and then I am just trying to get rid of the document now so that you can see other stuff I want to do. There we go. Okay, so let's move on to grouping and then ungrouping. So if I write something and I write it within the same time, it groups it, so those things move together. But then if I go back and I click a different color, or I do something else and then start writing again, if I click all of the things and then I click group, and I need to unlock it, it moves all of them together now. So before it would move them individually. So if I click ungroup, you can see I can move those parts separate from the black and the blue and the red. Okay, and I'm going to create a new page, and then we're going to insert and do some other arranging things. I added a duck, then under, oh, where is it? It's under edit. Oops, clicked the wrong thing. So here, see, and you can see like I don't remember everything, so sometimes you just gotta click around. Under edit, if you go to set auto rotation, and I click here and I drag it, it'll rotate that picture. So if you wanted to do, I don't know, some sort of rotation of a graph, or you could even set some rotations for science if you're doing a solar system to show rotation. You can change speeds. This button right here brings it back to the start and stops it from rotating. You can make it go really slow. Okay, so then you can also do an infinite scroll if you have a need for that. It's under the same thing, and then up here I just moved it side to side, and I click the check mark, and it just scrolls the duck. You can also do up and down. So if that's something you would want, that would be helpful to your students. It's a pretty cool tool. Okay, so that is it for the arranging. I think the most important one is locking your documents if you're going to use it for document writing. That way you can separate what you're writing and the actual file. Okay, so here we are going to go through some more inserts. I did a couple in the last one. So you go to that plus button, and then you go to clip art, and then you can scroll. Okay, you can scroll and click, or up here there's categories, and you can just click through the categories. If you need a clip art or something, there's animals, there's food, so I like the duck. It's my favorite animal. Okay, so there's a clip art. You can also search pictures, kind of like Google image search. So if I go back and I click this image from Uplash, and then I search puppies, it's my go-to school safe search. Then you just scroll and click the one you want. I'm just going to pinch it together and then move it to resize it. If you have an audio file already, you can scroll over Adds to Audio, or if you have one saved to your device, you can add a pre-existing audio. I don't have permissions access to it. I haven't changed my settings. I don't use that one that much. For math and science, and I guess other classes, this is really helpful. Equations. Okay, they're pretty terrible to type with just your iPad, so you can scroll through letters to do variables. So I'm going to do, let me move it. Okay. There we go. I'm going to go my letters. I'm going to click my A variable. I want to do AX squared. So I'm going to click here. And then these arrows help me to navigate it. So I go to the next one, I click X. Then I go back to my equation, arrow over to the exponent and hit the 2. Then I hit the next button and do plus. And then I do my variables, B, X, plus C. And then I accidentally typed a couple other things. So just backspace them. Okay, and then to make it bigger, I'm gonna just pinch it out with my fingers. Okay. And you can also insert a browser, which I like because a lot of times in videos, I wanna show my students what I'm doing on a calculator, but they can't see it through this program. So I found a school-safe calculator website. It's called calculator-1.com. So you can type in, if you want to put in a web page or something, you could show them how to navigate Google Classroom. That could be really cool. So here, I'm just trying to make it smaller. And so I could show students what I'm typing into my calculator, because a lot of times that's something we work on, especially at the beginning of the year. How do I type things in? Okay, and then I'm just going to shrink it and move it. So, some cool tools. I think those are helpful. I like the equation and the calculator one, and math specifically, but the other ones are pretty neat too. Okay, and then we also have some drawing tools. So if I go over here, I get my pointer out. Okay, through the shapes, I can click through different predetermined shapes, and you draw the size you want. It'll do a circle, which is really nice. Okay, then if I tap it, I can change it to an oval, an ellipse, and I can change the dimensions of my rectangle square shape. You can add like a shadow to it. You can change the colors of it. Okay, then this one with the dotted lines, I'm going to draw my own shapes, and it's going to shape match for me. And so since it didn't have a predetermined triangle, I can do an isosceles, you can do a right triangle. Then if I go here, to this guy right here, it lets me fill in the color of the shapes. If you're in the shape one, it lets you choose between the border and the fill colors. So I chose a yellow fill with a green border. There you can see it did it. Okay. And then I can go back here. I can choose a different color and fill it in. If you double tap like you do with the pen color, you can change to a custom color other than your red, blue, green, yellow. So, just a little thing I didn't go over before, and just drawing tools. They might be helpful to you. Okay, the last thing I want to go over and just make sure that I went over it is how to include a video. So how I'm doing it up here and getting my face on the Edpuzzle, or sorry, Explain EDU, mixing up my apps, is, so I go to that add button, I'm just getting a cursor. I go to that add or insert button, I click video, and then it pops up. It's funny because there's two of me. Pops up a little video. It doesn't start recording. Okay, you can move it, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. Okay, and if I hit the record button like you would to record your audio while you're writing, it starts recording the video for you, and when I hit stop, it stops recording the video. You can also hit pause, and it'll pause, and then once I want to play it on my Edpuzzle, or my Explain EDU, I just click the play button, and then there's my lovely, I'll put my finger in the camera. So, I think that's the greatest one. I like for them to be able to see me as I'm explaining the math. I think that helps some of them, especially who struggle with just verbal explanations. And so that is it for the video. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you're super interested in Explain EDU. I love it. I love that I can put in the files that I'm giving students and write the exact same thing on them. I love that I can add these videos so they can see my face as I'm explaining it. It records my audio. I just think overall it's a really great app and super duper useful, especially during our continuous learning. Have a great day, guys.